Despite it not being a required fight, the Divine Beast Dancing Lion is the first boss of the DLC most players come across. Sitting at the top of the Beluret settlement, the Dancing Lion is the apex of Hornsent culture, and its last line of defense. This video will explore what the lion is, along with how it fits into Hornsent society. So, I hope you enjoy, and feel free to subscribe if you do. After climbing up the Beluret Tower, we find an arena. As we enter, we hear the voice of Hornsent Grandam saying,
"O horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered, take root inside the tower's sculpted keepers, and perched within, we beg of thee, rise. Dance and kavod, cleanse all that thou wilt. Cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tower. Cleanse away the strumpet's vile progeny."
This dialogue is confusing at first, especially since most people hear it before they have a good sense of the lore, only having gone through one dungeon. Believe me, I did not pick up on these specifics during my first playthrough. The easiest thing to do is to start with the first line. Grandam calls on the horn-decked beast from a higher sphere to take root within the tower's sculpted keepers. She is calling on a beast blessed with many horns. Horns we know are an evolutionary gift from the Crucible, at least the Hornsent view it that way, and a symbol of spirituality in Hornsent culture. This beast is from a higher sphere, which I take to be a reference to it being divine, from the heavens. We even learn in the Enraged Divine Beast Talisman that they are messengers of the heavens. In ancient cosmology, the heavens and celestial bodies were talked about as spheres. So here, a divine messenger is invoked to come down from a higher sphere and inhabit to Hornsent under the lion costume. These dancers are called sculpted keepers, and they are essentially the top of the food web for the Hornsent, kind of like their version of an elite special forces. The whole Hornsent system is like a pyramid, with these guys at the very top. At the bottom are Hornsent just in general, and from them some are chosen to be the next level, Horned Warriors. The Horned Warrior helm explains, reading, "Helm featuring a crown of sturdy tangled horns, allowing the wearer to invoke divinity. Attire of the Horned Warriors, keepers of the tower. Divine invocation bolsters the strength of the wearer, but causes the blessing of the Erdtree to become nauseating, reducing the restorative effect of drinking from a flask of sacred tears." So, the Horned Warriors are keepers of the tower, and they gain power for this role by invoking divinity. Interestingly, this divinity is at odds with the Erdtree, and any item that invokes it, like this or other Hornsent masks, inhibits the Erdtree's power, like is found in our flasks. This would also explain why the beasts and warriors are weak to our Erdtree-centric holy damage. But the Horned Warriors are just the first level. The Divine Beast Helm tells us about the next step up. A helm of tangled horn attached to a Divine Beast mask, allowing the wearer to invoke divinity. Worn by Divine Beast Warriors, the chosen of the Horned Warriors. So from the pool of the Horned Warriors, the Divine Beast Warriors are then chosen. With the name, we're getting closer to the boss. Though funnily enough, we can only find Divine Beast Warriors past the tower settlement up in and near Elim, nearer to the Divine Gate. Their armor, the Divine Beast Warrior armor, tells us more about them, saying, "Armor of fetid horned warriors chosen to become Divine Beast Warriors, adorned with a lion's pelt. Among the Divine Beast Warriors, only those who truly excel at divine invocation become sculpted keepers, and are granted the honor of the lion dance." Finally, we arrive at the sculpted keepers, who are chosen from the Divine Beast Warriors best at invoking the divine. And it's not 100% clear, but I think there's even another level of choosing, where only some of the keepers get selected to be lion dancers. The Divine Beast head, which is different than the helm and is dropped by the dancing lion, tells us that it is ritual headwear in the form of a Divine Beast's head, used to perform the lion dance. worn by the very finest of the sculpted keepers. Alas, it no longer responds to the old woman's earnest prayer. So I think only the best of the sculpted keepers get to go on to the top of the pyramid and perform the lion dance. And in case you've never seen one in real life, this lion dance is inspired by real-world lion dances of China and East Asia, where generally two people dress as a lion in a similar way to what we see in-game and dance its movements, often during a parade or a festival. We learn that the Hornsent dancing lion was originally used in festivals too, from the enraged divine beast talisman we saw before. In full, it reads, "A charm depicting the crazed, cavorting dance of the divine beast, conducted at the Tower Festival, raises potency of storms. Divine beasts are messengers of the heavens, and their rage mirrors the tumult of the skies, of which storms are the pinnacle." Here we explicitly learn of a connection between the divine beasts and storms, which we can clearly see in the boss's moveset along with that of some of the warriors. We also get a reinforcement of their connection to the heavens through the title of Messenger. But despite starting as a way of connecting with divinity during the tower's festival, maybe through it the Hornsent would receive heavenly guidance from the messenger, the lions were eventually used as bulwarks once the Hornsent were threatened by Messmer. The rest of Grandam's dialogue at the beginning of the fight talks about cleansing those who plague the tower, namely the Strumpet's vile progeny. The Strumpet here is Marika, who we can hear referred to as such in plenty of other dialogue from Grandam.
Strumpet, strumpet.
And we get the full story from the remembrance of the Dancing Lion, which reads, "When the Impaler's army assailed the tower, the ritual of the lion dance was turned toward martial ends, its divinity, its fury, its light-footed beauty. So while it might not have originally been a combative ritual, the Dancing Lion was utilized as a weapon of war when the Hornsent were threatened by Messmer. Unfortunately for them, the dancing beasts were not enough. When we, the Tarnished, arrive in the Shadowlands, we can only find two of these beasts left. The first is the boss from the Tower Settlement, but one more can be found in the ancient ruins of Ra. This one has an added effect of Deathblight, and also the ability to summon basilisks, which means it may have been touched by Godwyn's infector tendrils. I don't know if you can be infected by Deathblight any other way, but I don't think there's a piece of Godwyn's corpse anywhere near Ra. But more importantly, it drops the Divine Beast Tornado when killed. This item reads, "The Tempest of the Dancing Lion, wielded as an incantation. A whirlwind-like twist of the body summons a storm, launching a tornado forward. Charging enhances potency. The majority of divine beasts were gored and hung upon Messmer's spears, then burned in his flame. Those who witnessed the deed likened it to a funeral pyre for the tower itself." This describes the scene we saw in the DLC story trailer, with Messmer impaling most of the lions. We learn from the ashes of Black Knight Captain Hua, that there was even a divine beast hunt, and evidently this captain was a champion of that hunt. So there was a concerted effort by Messmer and his forces to snuff out the lions, likely because they, being the strongest warriors, posed the largest military threat to the Erdtree forces. It is believable that Hornsent Grandam could be one of the ones who witnessed this massacre, this funeral pyre for the tower, and that would explain most of her dialogue we can get when wearing the Divine Beast head. The head's description identified that it was Grandam's prayer which awakened the lion for the fight, and this is doubly confirmed by the fact that the fight's intro will change if you injure Grandam before entering the arena. The cutscene voice will mirror her now injured voice.
"Curse upon thee, rotten miscreant, O horn-decked beast, from higher sphere delivered. O horn-decked beast, from higher sphere delivered."
But beyond this, by wearing the head, Grandam will mistake us for a sculpted keeper, and she will talk at length about us as the divine weapon of the Hornsent, about how we need to exterminate Messmer, the cause of the Hornsent suffering. She even makes us scorpion stew to aid in our battles. We learned in my video about Marika's backstory why Messmer launched the crusade against the Hornsent. They had tortured his mother's people, and maybe her, and stuffed them into jars. After his crusade of fire and retribution, we see the cycle endlessly continue with the Hornsent NPC and Grandam. Both are dead set on the destruction of Messmer and all of Marika's progeny. As Tarnished, we do end up killing Messmer regardless of Grandam's request, and if we talk to her while wearing the head, this will end her quest. As an immensely old lady, this prompts her to finally rest. But for the younger Hornsent, his bloodlust only grows after Messmer's demise.
Vengeance for the flames. My blade I wield.
Eventually, he follows the fate of the last two divine beasts, and thus, all of the Hornsent's mightiest warriors are met with death. We are never given very clear details on what kind of divinity the Hornsent connect with. As we can see through their warrior class, they are extremely devoted to spirituality and trying to connect with the divine, with each successive tier of warrior being chosen for having better ability at connecting with the divine. We even saw this in the motivations for the Hornsent treatment of the shamans. But it's hard to get a clear picture of what kind of god or divine entity they aimed at, beyond just the Crucible, which is the original form of the Erdtree that also blessed the Hornsent with their horns and is a big aspect of a lot of their incantations and religious practices. Maybe all they cared for was the Crucible, growing closer with it and creating some sort of god of the Crucible through their divine gate. Maybe they viewed the lion as a messenger from the Crucible, seeing as how it was rife with horns. But I don't know if I would view the Crucible as a kind of heaven or heavenly plane, so I don't know how this jives with viewing the Hornsent as directed towards the heaven or the Crucible, that being the same thing, or the heavenly beings that the Hornsent strive for being something completely different. Whatever that divinity was, their entire culture centered on this striving for it. It was both their last line of defense against the crusade that ended them and the primary cause of that crusade. The blind intensity of their reaching for divinity is what spawned the fiery crusader who destroyed them. There are actually a few more aspects to Hornsent warrior culture that I haven't mentioned yet who don't neatly fit into the pyramid that I want to talk about here. First, there are the divine bird, not beast, warriors, who are actually the first form of horned warriors. The ashes of the divine bird warrior Ornis tell us that this is the spirit of the divine bird warrior from whom the horned warriors claim descent, clad in golden armor and granted wings and feathers by divine invocation. Ornis succeeding in taming the divine bird, and made its wings his own as he soared through the sky. When he finally fell to earth, he lived on as the guardian deity of the temple quarter. So the horned warriors claim descent from one specific bird warrior, who tamed a specific divine bird. So it sounds like there could be real, tangible divine animals beyond just some divine beast inhabiting the lion dance, but the creature still being made of two Hornsent. Maybe this divine bird and bird warriors could have connection to the twin bird and its possible outer god of death, who I mentioned in my Outer Gods video, since the Shadowlands are a land of death, right? A topic for another video. Another set of outsiders to the pyramid are the Curseblades. The Curseblades are the Hornsent enemies who like dancing around a lot. Their weapon, the Curseblades Cirque, reveals that they were once ascetics who drove to become tutelary deities as a ritualistic object in their self-flagellating dances. From the ashes of Curseblade Mira, we learn that these ascetics who failed to become tutelary deities were a scourge for those who attempted to invade the Hornsent homeland. But long ago, before the land was overshadowed by invasion, this scourge was shunned, and the Curseblades were imprisoned. So the Curseblades, as strong warriors, were a thorn in Messmer's side during his crusade, just like they are to us Tarnished. But before that, they were shunned and imprisoned by the Hornsent themselves. The Curseblades were also trying to reach a form of divinity by becoming protector deities, but they failed, and perhaps that is why the rest of the Hornsent ostracized them. Either that or they don't like their style of self-flagellating dances. From the dancing lion to the simple horned warriors, Hornsent society was always pointed towards divinity, which we can see a tangible culmination of in the Divine Gate, a structure that can create gods. Unfortunately for the Hornsent, they don't seem to have been able to create a god of the Crucible, or even one that was on their side that survived for long enough to lead them or help them. At the end, all that is left is the Tarnished, to study the remains of their slaughtered culture. Fortunately, studying the remains of any and all killed by the Tarnished is precisely what we do on this channel, so subscribe to stick around if you want to join in more explorations, and you can even join the Patreon to support them. Thank you to my patrons who do support, and thank you viewer for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.